Okay, sister, next.
Okay, so my next is a Gabby Bernstein book, and it's Judgement Detox. Now, this was an interesting one. So I knew I wanted a Gabby Bernstein book on my list.
She's so good.
This one here was a really, really interesting one because this was not a book that kind of went down easy. And it's not her most popular book. If anything, I think it's her least popular book. And reflecting on it, especially recently when I was doing this, it's because it challenges you. It's going to challenge you a lot, and it's exactly what you need, what most people need. So a lot of Gabrielle Bernstein's books are, the power is within you and very, beautiful steps and almost, they build you up in this beautiful way. And this book is no different in a way. Like, it is going to build you up, but it's really, really highlights. Like, I have not found a book that actually targets so much of what most of our problems stem from. So a lot of our roadblocks are created by judgment, and we live in this society where we're programmed from a really, really young age to judge. We put labels on everything and everyone. And the first thing when we look at someone, we're analyzing, personal or physical appearance. It's like the first thing we see, the first thing our brain does, we analyze, and then we make judgments on people based on that. We make judgments on people based on their voice. And it's a way that our brain analyzes everything, and it keeps us safe. But there's so much wrong with that we block so much out of our lives from all these judgments we make about ourselves, we make about society, we make about everything else. And I feel like, and especially for myself, I ended up putting judgment and blame on, especially early on in my spirituality journey, judgment and blame on everyone else as a way to avoid just dealing with my own stuff. So this is a hard pill to swallow when you're in it, but it's a pill that I'm really going to encourage you to swallow. It's not, it's maybe not going to make you feel so fluffy first thing, first up, but, she has some great exercises. She has some beautiful meditations and some amazing, like, just affirmations and mantras that you can use just to start becoming aware. And if nothing else, you are going to start noticing how much judgment you put out there, just so you can take accountability for it. Because it really is a great book, and I don't think it got anywhere near as much hype. I think it just challenged people, and they just went, this isn't the happy, right.
This isn't super attractor.
This isn't super attractor. Exactly. And that was, that sat on my bedside table going, because it is, you can't have an affirmation or affirmation cards based on this book, because it's like constantly making you take accountability. So I just want to read, so this is on page 51, and it's called Honor the Wound. It can be scary and disorientating to let go of judgment, because it's a pattern we've grown to rely on. In some ways, releasing judgment can feel like letting go of a friend who deep down is not good for you. Even though your heart tells you it's time to move on, you feel a sense of sadness and loss. Underneath every judgment is a core wound. So I'm not going to she just goes on to explain so much about where our judgment comes from, but I really encourage everyone to just today take notice of where your mind just automatically goes to, and it doesn't even have to be out of negative judgment, but everything we do, we can look at a meal. We look at someone's picture on Instagram of like the meal they snapped, and we're like, that doesn't look appealing. And we just instantly judge whether we're going to like the look of something, whether we're going to like the taste of something, whether that's not me. It's like this, we're just pre-wired, it's instant. And as soon as you start taking notice of that, I did notice a massive change in my compassion, in my understanding. I'm not saying that it doesn't, autopilot doesn't click in sometimes, but it definitely made a big impression on me, this book. And
cool. I'd love to read it. I haven't read it, but I love Gabby, and I love the fact that Gabby, she shares her own stories. So in that book, I know she would share her own stories of judgments and things like that. And so I feel that she doesn't have this holier than now attitude. She kind of goes, hey, these are examples of where I've acted out of judgment, or, in all of her books, this is where I've acted in a way I wish I didn't act, or, and I love that because it makes me feel a little bit more heard by her, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's excellent.